I'm going to show how we can debug a desert problem where the front end isn't working how we expect. So let's say I already have some front end made where I'm doing the desert admin page. I'm going to reload this page and let's try to create a desert. And when I hit save, nothing's happening, and I can click save a bunch of times. It's not working. So if you right click your browser, or if you hold control and click your browser and go to inspect, right click if you're on non-Mac, control click if you're on Mac. You can also open the console with option command J. If you're on Mac, option command J. If you're not on Mac, control shift J. And we can see in the console here that I'm getting a 400 response. I can click this a bunch of times, and in the console I can see that the API is responding with 400. So this tells me that the API is running. It's not necessarily crashing, but for some reason it's returning 400. So the next step for what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the console. We can ignore that error. And I'm going to go find where we handle this code. So the quickest way I can do this is by just searching for create desert. And then if I go over here, let me close all the tabs. And if you do command shift F or control shift F, if you're not on Mac, look for create desert, because that's the endpoint that we're calling here, right? Boom. And I can find exactly where create desert is defined. And in this case, it's going to be in routes because this is the handler. Now, where do we return bad request in here? We return bad request right here. So it seems like it's when we create an event, and then if there's some sort of error, we return bad request. Let me... I made brackets here, and then I'm going to console.log error, like so. Now this, if I do it like this, right, it would just log the value of error. But instead of what I'm going to do, so I have max visibility, is I'm going to add a debug statement right here, like I don't know, creating didn't work, like that, okay? And then I'll save the file. We can see it reloaded right here. So if we go back and try to create a desert, I don't have to reload the front end, right? Because this is a backend change I made. So I'll do it again. And I just ran it, and you can see, oh, yep, there's a big error here. And it says title is required. Okay, so what this tells me is that we're not correctly passing title to the backend. Are we using title anywhere in this file? Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like we get title from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if the front end is passing title to the back end. The quickest way to do this is you have your console tab open, right? Go to network, and let's clear this. So now you have your network activity. Any HTTP request will be logged here. So notice I just click save, got the 400 response. This is the request right here, boom. Response, cool. The way you can see what was sent to the back end is by going to payload. And you can see that 3 fields were sent as JSON. We're not sending title, are we? See, name, not quite there. So let's go see what's going on here. So the quickest way I would find this file is, this is some pretty common text, right? Or this is some pretty unique text. If we global search for that with command shift F if you're on Mac, or control shift F if you're on Windows, you can get right to the page, exactly where you need to go. So then in here, I know that we call something like create desert. So let's go look for like create desert. Over here, what does this do? I'm holding command, and I'm going to go find the function. So I'm going to go find the definition of this function by holding command and clicking this name. If you're not on Mac, you can hold control and click on the name. Boom. So now this takes me right to where we're sending the request. And I'm going to double check what the value of each parameter is right here. So the quickest way you could do that is by just doing console.log and then both these values. But I'm going to make it even more easy to debug. So you could do it this way, but watch. Let's just quickly run through this real quick. So I made this change. Now I'll go over here, and let me close this. So if I send this, yeah, new desert and then tokens after that. But this isn't quite clear, right? I don't like this. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you what I mean by I don't like this. If you wrap these variables that you pass into console.log with brackets like this, save the file, and then let's reload the page just for fun. We can ignore these other errors. We're just focusing on debugging the dessert problem. If I save it again, you can see that now the console log is changed to include the name of each variable. New dessert and token. Very easy. So new dessert, as you can see, we're passing in name, description, and rating. Those are 3 fields. We're not passing in title. We need to change the title. This was very easy console log debugging right here with just this console log with the brackets wrapped. I like it. So let's go back to where create dessert's called. It's in the previous tab. We're calling create dessert here. We're passing in name, description, and rating. So we need to change the title. So what I would do is you can highlight this and then do F2, and you can rename this to title. And then look, everywhere title is used, it got renamed. See how easy that is? On 83 though, VS Code was smart and it kept the name field, but we don't want that. So let's just make this title like so. And then let's go up here and then let's rename, what is it? Title, set name. Okay, let's do set title. Set title. There you go. So we've only changed 2 parts of the same line, but we've updated the entire file with the use of F2. So let's reload and let's see what happens now. So reload, I still have my console open. Cookie, whatever you want, hit 10. And you can see we didn't get a 400, you see? Let's go over here, create dessert, return 200, see? So if I create a bunch, I'm clicking it a bunch of times. Just that one change in the front end, we were able to narrow it down. Very cool stuff. The network tab is super helpful. And you can click on each of these rows and you can totally see like what we're passing. Now we're passing title. Response, yep, it's working. So let's reload. And there are 2 API calls being done. One of them is get desserts. And if you look in the response tab, you can see that the 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times that I created dessert, it is actually being returned by the API. So we've debugged one aspect of the dessert problem with the network tab, console tab, and also some debugging in the backend. Remember, if you are console logging stuff in the front end, it's visible in the browser console. And if you're console logging stuff in the backend, it's going to be visible in the terminal here that's running Node.